All right, let's take a journey back in time. Imagine a place where history isn't just written in books, but it's literally etched in stone. A city born from pure ambition, the dream of an entire empire. This is the story of Persepolis. And that's not just some fancy praise. Seriously. From the moment it was rediscovered, people have recognized Persepolis for what it is, an absolute masterpiece of ancient art and engineering, a true wonder of the world. So let's set the scene. We're talking 518 BC. A ruler named Darius the Great. He was the head of the massive Achaemenid Empire, the first great Persian empire. He picked this very spot to build his new capital. But here's the thing. This wasn't just going to be any old city. This was designed to be the spectacular, glittering heart of the biggest empire the world had ever seen. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at why they call it the Gem of Persia. Then, we'll dive into the incredible engineering that made it all possible. After that, we'll see how it was used as a grand stage for kings, explore its lasting legacy, and finally, touch on the fight to protect it today. So let's kick things off with that title, the Gem of Persia. It's a fitting name, because Persepolis gives us this incredibly rare, breathtaking look into the soul of a civilization that's long gone, with its whole story just immortalized in stone. And when we say gem, we're not just being poetic. It really points to how the Achaemenids were absolute masters of their craft. I mean, we're talking architecture, city planning, construction, art, the whole shebang. Every single part of this place, from the grand layout to the tiniest carving, just screams creative genius. Okay, so we've talked about the art, but how in the world did they build this thing? Let's get into the engineering, because honestly, the way they put this city together is just as mind-blowing as the art itself. Get this, the foundation alone is just insane. They carved and built a massive terrace, about 13 hectares, straight out of the mountainside. To put that in perspective, that's like 24 football fields. They basically built a giant elevated stage just for the city's palaces. And on that stage, you had all these incredible features. I want you to just picture it for a second. You're climbing these massive, sweeping stairways. You walk through a huge gateway flanked by gigantic winged bulls. And all around you, the walls are covered in these beautiful carvings telling the empire's story. The whole experience was designed to just wow you. So you get inside these huge halls, and they just feel so open and vast, almost like they shouldn't be able to stand up. So what was their secret? Well, it was some seriously clever engineering. They used lighter roofing materials and super strong wooden beams to spread out all that weight. It was revolutionary. And to really grasp this genius, you have to look at the columns. These things were just enormous. We're talking 20 meters high. They would have made anyone standing next to them feel absolutely tiny. But here is the really crazy part. Even though they were so incredibly tall, they were also remarkably slender, only about 1.6 meters wide. That ratio of height to width, it just shouldn't work with stone. It's like an architectural magic trick. So what you end up with is this amazing contradiction. Giant, heavy stone structures that somehow feel light and elegant. And you better believe that was on purpose. It was a power move, plain and simple. It sent a message. Our king is so powerful, he can command his builders to defy the laws of nature. And sitting right on top of each of these incredible columns, you've got the iconic double bull capital. Basically, two bulls sitting back to back, forming a cradle for the ceiling beams. It's a design masterpiece that was both functional and a powerful symbol of the empire's strength. So, all this amazing architecture, this defiance of gravity, it wasn't just to look pretty. No, the entire city was built for a very specific reason. It was meant to be a massive stage, a theater for the Achaemenid kings to put their power and authority on full display. And this is a really important thing to understand. Persepolis wasn't a capital city in the way we think of one today. It was the ceremonial heart of the empire. This is where the king would hold massive receptions and receive tribute from every corner of his kingdom, especially during the great festival of Nowruz, the Persian New Year. And how do we know so much about what happened here? Well, the story of the empire is literally carved right into the walls. Those magnificent reliefs or friezes that you see, they're not just decorations, they're a history book in stone, a visual narrative that shows off the power and diversity of their world.
And in this stone parade, you've got everybody. You see the elite imperial guards, you see noble Persian and Median officials, and maybe coolest of all, you see all these different groups of people from all over the empire, bringing gifts for the king. And right there, at the center of it all, the king himself, making it perfectly clear who's in charge. So when you put it all together, the art, the engineering, the history, it's pretty clear why Persepolis is so important. It's not just a treasure for Iran, it's a treasure for all of humanity. So it's really no surprise that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So why did UNESCO give it that special status? Well, it boils down to three main things. First, it's a flat-out masterpiece of human creativity. Second, it's a one-of-a-kind window into a civilization that's completely disappeared. And third, it's the ultimate picture-perfect image of what the Achaemenid monarchy was all about. And you know, one of the most incredible things about Persepolis is just how real it is. A lot of ancient sites have been rebuilt or heavily restored. Not here. What you see today is the real deal. The original materials on the original spot, nothing's been faked. Which, of course, leads us to a really big question for today. How exactly do you protect something so authentic and ancient from all the pressures of the 21st century? And that's a serious question, right? Because trying to preserve a place this massive is a constant battle. You're fighting against time, the weather, and, of course, modern human development. On one hand, you've got some major threats, things like nearby towns getting bigger, industrial development, and farms expanding. But on the other hand, there are some serious protections in place. We're talking national heritage laws, government management, and even a dedicated team right there on site making sure it's safe. At the end of the day, Persepolis remains this powerful, silent testament to the incredible ambition of an ancient empire. The real challenge now falls to us. Can we make sure that this irreplaceable story, written in stone, survives for all the generations to come? You have to wonder, will we succeed?